I'm Catherine Hayes. I'm the Executive Director of the Wharton Future of Advertising program. It's a research program at the University of Pennsylvania. And what we did is we kicked off in 2012 a research project called Advertising 2020. And we asked two questions. Number one, what should advertising look like in 2020? Not what will it look like? So it was very much aspirational. And the second question is, what should we do now to get ready for that future? So really thinking about, if we're getting ready for it now, to get ready for that idealized future, then actually we're co-creating it. So that's really what the project has been about. We started with our global advisory board. We have about 90 people from around the world, very diverse perspectives. And we really expanded from them and their contacts. So we really wanted to make sure we had academics for sure, but we have practitioners, agency people, executives, really kind of a who's who. We're very thrilled. We have cultural anthropologists, we have lots of creatives, kind of soft spot in the heart for creatives, but we have analytics, we have people who think about things from an entertainment perspective. So really from across the board, and that was really intentional, to get as many diverse perspectives as we could about what this future could be. I think the most interesting to me is that when we asked the question the way that we did, people got pretty hopeful. I mean, you know, not everybody thinks when they wake up in the morning, advertising is the best thing that I've ever experienced in my whole entire life. They're like, I'm in advertising because, so it really, I think, gave people an opportunity to imagine what it really could be. And in fact, the name of the book that we published just in February is called Beyond Advertising. So that was a big part of it. I think the second thing that was really exciting about it, we had over 22 countries, people from over 22 countries who were a part of it, is that there's so many localized areas of expertise and inspiration. I think it's a lot like Cannes, where we can really sort of take from those localized, how they really connected at a very essential level with their communities, and how we sort of brought that to life across all of our learnings. So what we did, the real work effort, in addition to sort of being able to have all of these perspectives online, so all 200 plus people, 1,000 word or less essays, you can read their own words, which are absolutely amazing and inspirational. What we did is we wrestled that into a model, what we call the all touchpoint value creation model. And it basically has 4 parts. So this is kind of the key findings, is how things can fit together, how people can conceptualize advertising and beyond advertising in the future. So the first is aligned objectives. So it's not just about the brand anymore. It's about brands aligning with what people in their lives are, their aspirations, not even thinking about them as consumers, thinking about them as people, and thinking about them as part of a community. So imagining them that way. So the second part of the model is really taking the best of some of the most important areas of expertise going forward. So we like to, again, start with creativity, but it's not obviously in the creative, people with creative titles, it's creativity across the board. Marrying that with analytics, because we have deeper ways of understanding what people are about, what they like, what they don't like, what they're responding to, what they're blocking, that sort of thing. Coupling that with design, because we live in a multi-sensory world and we have so many different ways of connecting with people, the design element and the multi-dimensional aspect of it is key. And then finally, operational, because for brands especially, all of this has to be able to be actionable so that brands can act on it, they can take insights, they can take the creative, they can bring it out throughout their whole organization so all touch points are connected. And that really comes together with a compelling brand purpose, something where all these parts come together so that the brand really stands and means something meaningful, and that brings, and brings the alignment that much greater. The third part of the model is that we have to go beyond advertising to all touch points, and they have to be interconnected. So there's a notion of orchestrating across all touch points, from certainly advertisements, but package design, product design, customer service, because if you think of a person at the center of all of this, they don't really see the distinction. And if they're seeing an ad that says everything is great, and they call up and they get customer service and it's awful, then it's really not doing a great service to the brand. So really making sure that all the touch points are orchestrated and that we're conceiving as it together. And then the fourth part of it is, we think of it as maximizing both content as well as context. There's presentations here at Cannes that say context is king and content is still king, but we think that they reign together, that they're both really important. And that we have a really great acronym to remember. On the content side, or we like to think of it as substance, we think of it as raves. Relevant and respectful, actionable, valuable and value creating, an exceptional experience, and a share-worthy story. And there's research behind every single one of those about how really making sure that those elements are as powerful as they can be, improve results, and again, in a win-win way. On the context side, we think of it, the acronym is Mades. So it's multi-sensory, as I said before. It's really in consideration of the audience, the person, what mood are they in at that particular moment, who else are they with, what's actually going on for their lives. A delivery mechanism, so not just a device, but if you think if you're at an event, at a place like this, how are you really considering that context? And then at the end is the synergy that goes across all of it. How is the context synergized with all of the other touch points? I think the biggest surprise was how willing so many different people were to take a step back and look to the future that far ahead, and really take the time to crisp that up into 1,000-word or less essays. Try it sometime. It's not that easy. We really did ask them to kind of look from their own perspective, so that we were asking them not to sort of paint the entire picture, but from their vantage point, so that we can put this all together as a mosaic. And I think the second surprising thing is when we sort of said thank you so much, because you'll see when you look at the list, it's a pretty impressive list. They actually said, you know what, thank you, because sometimes we get so caught up in day to day and in a reactionary mode that to take a step back actually caused me to reconsider how we're going about things. And so as a result of that, we think sort of that's going to be the next step. We've just published a book called Beyond Advertising, Creating Value Through All Customer Touchpoints. But we really think as we get to 2020, it will be great to tell the stories of how people sort of saw things differently, changed the way they were doing work, and felt the impact of it.